to see it.
So what we're talking about today, we talked about last week, we chased a rabbit near the end, talking about the copying of the New Testament documents, same thing with the Old Testament to some degree. Copyists or scribes would copy down the text. They didn't have Xerox machines, they didn't have computers or typewriters. You would have either a scribe, one scribe with one book copied to another book, or you'd have a whole room full of scribes, one person reading, and the whole room sitting down copying. A scriptorium is what they'd call that, and that's essentially the original Xerox machine, right? Paper was really, the writing utensils were really expensive. It was really, really expensive to produce a book. It was often written on things such as vellum. You don't want to know what vellum, anybody guess what vellum is? Skin, animal skin.
Yeah.
When the old saying, you graduate, you get your sheepskin. They used to print diplomas on sheepskin, vellum. Yeah. Vellum was a material often used, especially in the Middle Ages, was used a good bit. Parchment was very popular around the time of Jesus for copying, a little bit after. Some of the earliest New Testament documents written on parchment. Those are made from reeds, especially around the Egypt area, they used parchment. And eventually you'd have paper, took over. But still, you had, before movable type, it was all done by hand. So we're going to do a few exercises and talk about a few words. I'm going to see how good a copyist and scribes you are. Okay? So I'm going to read something. I'm not going to read it very, very fast, but I'm not going word for word as far as slowness. Okay? This is from Alice in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. Okay? So you can copy this if you want to. If you don't want to, that's fine. And I got another exercise too before we get to something else, but we can do this one. This is playing on homophones. Well, that's fine because some copyists did use shorthand. Yeah, it's just they did it in the margins. Mine is a long and a sad tale.
Oh, my pen don't work.
Each other. I'll start over. So get you boys. Grace. Here, take three of them, see if they work.
I did 3 of them.
One of them surely will work out of 3. Hopefully. Knock on wood.
What? Now, say it again.
Okay. For the sake of Patty, everybody else, you don't cover the years or you can cheat. Mine, you ready? Does it work? You got one that works? Okay, we striking out?
They feel dry.
Well, apparently Bill Abrams left them, so they've been here since Bill.
They've been here a while.
Here's some down here.
The pencils? Okay.
Well,
Let's get you a pencil.
Yeah.
mine wouldn't until I started.
Pens or pencils, but
Let's do pencil. How about that?
Oh my goodness, way too many dry.
Well, we'll see.
Mine
Okay.
was running out.
This is for the cheaters and for Patsy, so let's see how it goes. Okay. You ready? Mine is a long and a sad tale, said the mouse, turning to Alice and sighing. It is a long tale, certainly, said Alice, looking down with wonder at the mouse's tail. But why do you call it sad? And she kept on puzzling about it while the mouse was speaking. Okay. Y'all meant to catch up. So the reason I included this is really good with homophones, words that sound the same. Yep.
which kind of tail we
That's part of it, yeah.
Is that all?
A lot of these copyists, these scribes, they'd make errors of hearing, and one of the errors of hearing they would make is they'd mishear something for a homophone, a word that sound the same. So, okay. Tell you what, you're going to check your work here. Every word, I'm going to read it back, and every word you get, I want you to give yourself a point. How about that? Tell them how many words you got right. Okay? You don't have to copy anymore, just listen, and you can check your work. Mine is a long and a sad tale, T-A-L-E, said the mouse, turning to Alice and sighing, "It is a long tail, T-A-I-L, certainly," said Alice. I didn't spell the last time for a reason, yeah. Looking down with wonder at the mouse's tail, T-A-I-L. But why do you call it sad? And she kept on puzzling about it while the mouse was speaking. Who got every word right?
I know.
Who made less than 10 errors? Anybody? I think John got them all right, didn't you?
I can see that, I don't see what he wrote. He just scribbled.
I know the first two lines.
That's good. That's
I
good.
got 37 words.
I got
Okay.
30 words.
Okay. Okay.
But I've got the wrong tail in the wrong place.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That
I
don't count.
didn't even,
Now remember, we're very much a print society. Can we read something, we see it. Most of the ancient world, even scribes, quote unquote scribes, they memorized the text, especially in ancient Israel, time of Jesus and prior, they memorized the text. And even in Greco-Roman context, they would memorize a text. They would only have the scroll or the book before them as a memory aid, a cheat sheet. You know, it talks about, Jesus talks about, here fulfill the law, every jot and every tittle. They knew every jot and every tittle, every mark. They knew. Every little letter they knew. They memorized. Right? And it is said that the best scribes could recite everything. Right? So they were very oral culture. They weren't very necessarily a written culture. Okay? So we're a little different. And it's a little harder for us. So we may have more errors, of course. But imagine how hard it was, y'all just trying to do that. That's pretty hard, wasn't it?
mm-hmm.
I intentionally picked something that wasn't easy. But it wasn't extremely hard either. So I'm going to try something else. Y'all ever played the game telephone? I used to do this with teenagers.
Yep.
I'm going to whisper something in somebody's ear. Okay?
Kind of gets to the other end.
We'll see what we got. Okay? And don't write it down. That's cheating. Okay? So let me write something down. Let's see here.
You're gonna have to consider hearing losses in this room.
I understand. That's part of the fun.
You can start one end, kind of gets the other Huh?
Consider political differences and all kinds of things.
Yeah, what
Like
we
interact
have
and
that
change it as it goes along.
That's what this one goes.
Okay, I'm trying to think. Who's the youngest? Patsy, you're probably the youngest here, aren't you? Anybody younger than Patsy? Okay, I'll start with the youngest.
How old is Patsy?
I'll never tell.
She's 29 and a
She's
half.
younger than me.
She's 29
Yeah,
and a
younger
half.
than
Okay,
Patty.
well, let me come whisper in your ear. Okay, and I've got it written down, okay?
Oh. You go,
Well, I said youngest, not best looking, so. Oh, now, it might make noises to distract you too, especially if you're talking really loud. Okay, so what's going on, y'all? Being too loud back there.
Wait a minute, he interrupted.
That's part of the deal, isn't it? Let me get me a peppermint here. Oh man, it gets in my throat going. Do I need
have
to,
no idea what she said.
would y'all need to be excluded or included?
Oh, Lord, we can't hear it.
Okay.
We can't either.
Well, he can't either.
I'll just check with Alva Jean. Okay. Okay.
I must hold.
Al Jean, what'd you hear?
Live members are all crazy.
While that may be true, Patsy, what did you hear?
The live embers eat all the time.
Okay.
Oh.
And I've got right here, the live embers eat all the time.
Oh,
So somewhere between 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people that went from live members eat all the time
are
to
they
live
crazy?
members are crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Depends on what they eat.
Well, I think it says more about what y'all think about the live members than it does me, so I'm just saying.
Well, they're not crazy.
But again, you know, there's of hearing, right? Some of y'all have hearing loss issues and talking issues, and but I got to look about different homophones and how things sound. You know, in English, there's a bunch of different homophones. Sell and sell, C-E-L-L and S-E-L-L. If you sell drugs, you will get arrested and end up in a prison cell. Scent and scent. I won't spend 1 cent on a bottle of perfume until I know that I love the scent. Dye and dye. If you accidentally drink a bottle of fabric dye, you might die. Flour and flour. To bake a flower-shaped cake, you'll need some flour. 4 and 4. I purchased 4 new pairs of shoes for my upcoming vacation. Heel and heel. If the heel breaks on your shoe, you might fall. However, your injuries will heal over time. Here and here. I wanted to sit here so I could hear the singer performing without any distractions. So I think the good ones here. Night and night. The knight is on his way to the castle, but traveling at night is also very dangerous. Right and right. There is no right way to write a great novel. Son and son. My son is 13 years old. He likes to spend time outside in the sun. Steal and steal. Someone who decides to steal a car has committed a crime, but auto parts are made of steel. And here's one that comes into play, especially tomorrow when it's storming. Weather and weather. I don't know whether to bring a jacket or not. The weather looks unpredictable today. You know, words can be kind of confusing if you just hear them and don't catch all the context, right? Like the tail and tail. Now, how many of y'all are really good at spelling words? Anybody good at spelling words? Okay.
Sometimes.
I won the spelling bee in the 8th grade at Asbury.
There were only 3 words on the list.
I memorized the book, that's what it amounted to. I couldn't spell one of them because of the way they sound or what they meant.
Well, I got to share something talking about Lincoln County culture. I was talking to the ministers Tuesday, and Billy Irvin, the First Methodist, talking about going to a wedding at the laboratory mill they've redone, you know, for banquets and stuff.
Yeah, they've done a couple of things.
Yeah, we remember that.
And I said, Billy, next time you're in Lincoln, go to city lunch. Mark Hovis popped up and said, you know, you got to have that fancy attire to eat city lunch. I assured Billy, I said, this is Lincoln County. As long as you got some clothes on of some sort, maybe if you don't even have clothes on, they'll let you in there.
You gotta have shoes and a shirt. Didn't say anything about pants.
I didn't say anything about pants.
Well, they said city lunch.
So don't throw your papers away. Okay, y'all ready? Commonly misspelled words. Let's see if you can get these. Okay, I ain't gonna give you all of them. Let's see how you do. You see if y'all are good scribes or not. Accommodate. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. I'll accommodate you. Accommodate. Okay, anybody ready for the correct spelling? Okay. I tell you what, anybody want to share how they spelled accommodate?
A-C-C-O-M-M-O-D-A-T-E.
Good job. Everybody have it right?
I left out one C.
Yep.
Left
Yep.
him out.
Yep. Yep. Okay, the next one is liaison. That's not a, you know, that's probably has French roots, I'm assuming, liaison. Trying to think of good context. The man had a secret liaison. Well, I better not go there. Anyway,
Probably not.
probably not. Anyway, liaison. He served as a liaison
Here you go.
to the British Council. There you go. Okay. Anybody know how to spell besides Carolyn? Okay, Carolyn, what you got?
Liason.
Okay, one more time.
Liason.
L-E-I-A-S.
Liaison.
That's what I had.
Oh,
What did I
okay.
say?
I think you said just went from A to S. I think that's what I heard.
L-I-A.
Okay. Okay. Anybody else have it right? Okay. I don't feel bad. I had to look these up myself. Trust me. Okay. Next one is lollipop. You probably eat these, but you may not know how to spell it, right? Lollipop. My kids, every time I go to the store, want a lollipop. So I started telling them to bring their own money. Lollipop. Okay. Anybody want to conjecture besides Carolyn? Let's try somebody else besides Carolyn.
L-O-L-L-I-P-O-P.
Lollipop. I had on this list beautiful, but y'all know how to spell beautiful, hopefully, right?
Yeah.
Yep, it's you spell beautiful C-H-A-N-D-R-A. Tell her I said that. Get brownie points.
Gotcha.
Okay, how about this one? This is kind of an easy one. We use it a lot. Tomorrow. Tomorrow, tomorrow. You're only a day away.
Tomorrow and tomorrow, just in this petty pace.
But Anthony would say, tomorrow. Can you take me
Tomorrow.
to school tomorrow? And of course I could.
Tomorrow. Anybody want to guess on that one?
I got T-O-M-O-R-R-O-W.
Good job,
Yeah.
good job. But you believe that people misspell that good, put an extra M in there or leave out one R? Yep. Okay, which is another one, W-H-I-C-H is often misspelled. Unforeseen. Somebody walked in. It's Jennifer. You got choir practice tonight. Unforeseen. U-N-F-O-R-E-S-E-E-N. Unforeseen. How about this one? I'll let y'all try to spell this one. Torture you real bad. Idiosyncrasy. Good luck with this one, Carolyn. If you get this one, my faith in you is beyond measure. Because I always confuse an S with a C in this one. Idiosyncrasy. Syncrasy, excuse me. Idiosyncrasy.
Starts with an I.
Starts with an I, ends in a Y, right? Has a D, an I, and an O, and something else in there, right? Okay. Okay. I'm not going to ask anybody this, and I'll spell it out, and y'all can either say, oh man, or yay, okay? I-D-I-O-S-Y-N-C-R-A-S-Y. Anybody get it right?
No.
Nope. Okay, I figured. Oh, here's a good one. I never spell this one. I always have to double check this one. Thank the Lord for computers and spell check these days. Reminisce. Reminisce. Now see, one of these things too, these scribes, especially if they had one reading to them, and they had to listen, sometimes they might have misspelled a word. Might have left out an I, or left out an E, or a C, or confused a C with an S, or what have you. You know, there's different sounds that may have confused them. Reminisce. I'll tell you this one, and y'all can double check your work. R-E-M-I-N-I-S-C-E. Reminisce. Anybody get it right? Good job, good job. Okay, so let me hand these out to you. And the answers are on this. But on the flip side is the main reason I'm handing it to you, and I'll show it to you in just a minute. I got a little project on the bottom of the
I didn't get you for that spelling.
side. So if you didn't spell any words right, that's okay. We still love you. But I just want y'all to think about how hard it may have been for somebody to copy a New Testament document and how much God was in it. Right? These people were very particular about how they did this. One side you can't read, trust me. Okay, so on the side that you can read, this is the last assignment for you. Okay? This is 1 John 3:16 from the NIV. No cheating if you got the NIV Bible, okay? I want you to draw a line between the first and last letter of the words. I'll give you the first break. THIS, and then draw a line. This, and so on and so forth. You see, one of the things is, if you look on the back, they wrote the words together. Some of the earliest Greek manuscripts and Hebrew manuscripts, especially Greek, they wrote all the words together. They didn't put spaces in the words. So a scribe was to have to know the text or understand where the breaks were. This shouldn't be too hard for you. It's pretty easy text. But sometimes you get spots where there's a break and you don't know which word is which. And some of the scribes would hurry through something and they might put a wrong word because they misunderstood what the break was. I'm going to do it myself because I haven't done it. Okay, let me read it to you and see if you got it right. Surely you did. It's not that hard. But if you didn't, we still love you. This is how we know what love is. Jesus Christ laid down his life for us, and we ought to lay down our lives for our brothers and sisters. Not too hard, was it? Not too hard. But on the back you'll notice that, which is Greek, you can say this looks Greek to me. Almost all the words are written close together. There might be an occasional spot with a little bit of break for a paragraph or a chapter, type of chapter breaking thought. But they copied all the words together, and it wasn't, this is very pretty handwriting. It wasn't always necessarily pretty. Some of us don't have the best handwriting. I have horrible handwriting. But scribes and God entrusted the text with scribes and copyists for centuries. And they didn't take the task lightly. But they did have some obstacles. You see, the beauty of the Bible is it didn't come down directly from God in English. Okay? It didn't come down, despite what some churches put on their signs, King James 1611. The Bible did not come down directly from God in King James English. Moses didn't speak it. Moses didn't speak English. Jesus probably could have spoken English because he's God, but he probably didn't. So somehow, from the time of Moses and Jesus and all these figures, the text got to us. Okay? We should not be ignorant of the fact that God used men and women to copy it, and copy it, and copy it after it was written down. And then after the copies were made of the different languages, then to translate it and give it to us. And the problem is, there's a lot of human hands involved. And no matter how hard we try to be perfect at all that we do, we ain't perfect. What word was that I stumped you on, Carolyn, on the spelling? Was it idiosyncrasy?
Yeah.
I stumped you. Yay. Nobody's perfect. Although Carolyn's pretty darn close.
Look
I
at
didn't
that.
know how to look it up in a
Look at
dictionary.
that word poor and then that other one, P-O-U-R. We don't say poor, poor, poor.
Pour water, pour water.
Pour water.
We
Yeah.
say poor.
I know you say pour.
Yeah, it's not the
But
right
the way you
word.
spell it is P-O-U-R.
I pour drinks at a bar every night. I am poor because I have too many bills and not enough money. Pour and pour.
Don't get enough tips.
Or
Yeah.
P-O-U-R.
Yeah. Like you pour something, pour water from a
I guess
pitcher.
right, I know,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
poor.
Like,
Yeah.
Poor.
like Grandpa.
It's poor, you ain't got no money.
I know that, but that one didn't move right.
Like Grandpa used to pour it into mason jars on the side of the mountain.
There you go, there you go. Or, you know, think about even accents too, right? That's brought to mind the, how do you pronounce the word O-I-L?
Oil,
Oil or oil?
oil.
Earl.
You ain't from around here, are you?
No.
Okay, that's what I thought. All right. You see, all this mess, all this craziness of errors of hearing, errors of sight, copying and translating hard words and putting one word from one language into the other. God allowed human beings to be involved in the process. It wasn't clean and neat and perfect. It was messy. But all through the steps of it, God was with it. Was listening to a lecture one time, a guy named Dan Wallace, who teaches at, I think, Dallas Theological Seminary out in Texas. He's one of the top people in think called textual criticism, look at these different manuscripts. And he said that in some ways there are more variances in different copies of copies of copies of copies than there are words in certain books of the Bible. But he said there's really very few major, if any, major significant differences that affect the text theologically. That's pretty important. And on top of that, if you think about the Old Testament, up until the finding of the Dead Sea Scrolls, one of the oldest copies of the book of Isaiah, or the Old Testament in general, was from about, somebody else is coming in the door, was from about 1000 AD, Codex Leningrad, or Leningrad Codex, around that time period. Well, when the Dead Sea Scrolls were found, a copy of the book of Isaiah, which was probably a few hundred years, maybe 100, 200 years before life at the time of Jesus, was found. And it almost perfectly matched the Codex, Leningrad Codex for Isaiah. They almost matched. Think about that span of 1,000 to 1,200 years. All the copying and transference and all this stuff, they matched almost perfectly. Isn't that crazy? That's God. Right? That's God. So, but every now and then, like I said, you know, these scribes, they try to get the word out there and try to do it in a hurry sometimes. They're human, they have faults, they fall asleep or something like that, trying to copy and hear things wrong or see things wrong. And eyesight gets bad as you get older. Or remember, they didn't have lights, they had candles, just that.
Split in the end of the turkey feather,
Yeah.
makes it a little wider and makes a wider mark.
Yeah,
And
there
then
you go.
all of a sudden you turn the ink bottle over and you have to wait on whiteout to be invented.
Yeah. Well, there are some copies. In fact, I was looking at, I should print it off for you, a text where there's some marks in the text where they actually made changes in the text as they were copying, or copiers later went back and corrected it. So they even made corrections in the text. You know, I draw on the board, but sometimes there's a little, almost like a half pyramid, you know, the line up. That's a correction mark for an insertion, things like that when you're correcting papers. You find stuff like that in some of these copies sometimes because they realize, because you can't erase it. It's an ink. Go back and try to fix it or messed up. So, but thank y'all for indulging me in this, and I think I've taken up too much of your time. It's time for choir practice. Next week we'll talk about Matthew. Okay?
I'll give you a quick story about
Yeah, go ahead, yeah.
words.
Yeah.
Years ago, when you send a package overseas, they asked you at the post office, was it commercial or what? I said, no, it's a gift. He said, write on their gift. So I did and sent it to Germany. They had a problem because GIFT is poison in Germany. You see how something can happen
Yeah.
that quick? They didn't
Yeah.
want to deliver it or anything because I put gift on it. And here they told me to put a gift on it,
Yeah.
you know. So
Well, and even in one,
I guess.
even in one language changes, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Think about the word cool. Cool can be a temperature. Cool can be also one's persona, right? I'm cool with it, you know. Gay means something different today than it did 40, 50 years ago, right?
Yep.
In fact, you could I could write somebody as the bomb. And that's an expression for how neat somebody is or how cool they are. They're the bomb. That's
I
slang,
was in
right?
Hawaii and the guy asked me, said, what part of Texas you from? He said, where you from? And I said, I'm from Dallas. He said, I thought maybe you was from farther south, you know, from
Yeah.
Texas, you know.
Yeah.
I said, no, I'm kind of in the east part of
Yeah.
Texas.
Oh, yeah,
In
yeah.
fact, we kept on, and
Yeah.
I told him, I said, I'm not from Texas.
Yeah.
He said, boy, you sound just like one of them people from Texas.
Yeah. Well, funny story about that. Renee told me one time, said that somebody trying to get in touch with some Baptist church out in Dallas, Texas, contacted this church where they found on the internet. Thought it was in
Yeah,
Texas.
there is a Dallas Baptist in Dallas,
Yeah,
Texas.
that's-
And you know, sometimes people, you can ask them things, and we were on one of these bus trips one time, and I forgot somewhere up in upper New York, or somewhere, we stopped, and the place, and they had ice. And the coolers, we had coolers on the side of the bus, you know, and they kept ice and drinks out. And that driver, he got out, and he was an old country boy anyway, he said, "On the mile." And that guy, he stood around there a minute, and he said, "I don't think I have any." He said, "You don't have ice?" "No." In a little bit, he said, "Boy, I'd give $10 for a bag of ice." That guy said, "Hold on this minute, I'll get you one."
Well, let's pray and I'll collect your hymnals and your pens and stuff. Let's pray. Lord, we thank you so much for this opportunity to come together, Lord. I pray that you'll bless our study this evening and maybe, Lord, you'll speak in some way to each of us. And we pray. Amen.
Amen.
When we get you